Mindful Spending: How to Be Frugal Without Feeling Deprived by James Fisher. Introduction. Mindful spending is about making intentional choices with money so that every dollar serves a purpose. Many people associate frugality with sacrifice, but true financial mindfulness allows for both saving and enjoying life. Instead of focusing on what is being cut out, mindful spending shifts attention to what is truly valued. It helps prevent wasteful purchases, reduce financial stress, and create a budget that aligns with personal priorities. By understanding spending habits, making thoughtful choices, and appreciating what is already available, it is possible to be frugal without feeling deprived. Chapter 1. Understanding how money is spent is the first step toward mindful spending. Many purchases happen out of habit, emotion, or social influence rather than necessity. It is easy to buy something because it is on sale, because others have it, or because it provides temporary excitement. However, these purchases often add little long-term value and can lead to financial stress. Tracking expenses for a few weeks can reveal where money is going and whether those purchases align with personal priorities. Someone may realize they spend more on takeout than they thought, subscribe to services they rarely use, or make impulse purchases that do not add real value. The goal is not to eliminate all spending, but to identify areas where money could be used more intentionally. A simple way to assess purchases is to ask whether they bring lasting satisfaction or just momentary pleasure. A morning coffee from a favorite cafe might be a ritual that brings joy, while a random online purchase may be forgotten in a week. Recognizing the difference between mindful and mindless spending allows for better financial decisions without feeling restricted. Making small adjustments, such as limiting unplanned purchases or setting a monthly budget for non-essentials, can lead to better money management without sacrificing enjoyment. The key is awareness. Knowing where money is going and ensuring it is being spent in ways that truly enhance life. One way to develop spending awareness is by keeping a simple record of every purchase. Many people underestimate how much they spend on small, frequent purchases. A person who spends $10 a day on snacks or drinks may not notice it at first, but over a month, that adds up to $300. Seeing these patterns can be eye-opening and may inspire changes. Writing down every expense, whether in a notebook or a budgeting app, can make spending habits clearer. It is not about feeling guilty, but about gaining control over financial choices. When a person knows where their money is going, they can make better decisions about whether those expenses align with their priorities. Another factor that influences spending habits is emotional triggers. Many people spend money not because they need something, but because they are stressed, bored, or seeking a quick mood boost. Retail therapy can feel rewarding in the moment, but often, the excitement of a new purchase fades quickly, leaving behind regret and a lower bank balance. Recognizing emotional spending patterns can help break the cycle. Instead of shopping to feel better, finding other ways to manage emotions, such as going for a walk, calling a friend, or engaging in a hobby, can provide relief without financial consequences. The more a person understands their spending triggers, the easier it becomes to make thoughtful choices instead of reacting impulsively. Social influence also plays a big role in spending habits. People often feel pressure to keep up with friends, coworkers, or social media trends, leading to unnecessary purchases. Seeing others take expensive vacations, buy designer items, or constantly upgrade their belongings can create the feeling that spending is necessary to fit in. However, mindful spending means making decisions based on personal values rather than outside influences. It is important to remember that what others spend money on may not align with personal goals. Choosing financial stability over unnecessary expenses can bring greater long-term happiness than trying to keep up with trends. A helpful practice in mindful spending is the need versus want approach. Before making a purchase, asking whether it is truly necessary or just a desire can prevent unnecessary expenses. This does not mean never spending on things that bring happiness, but rather making sure those purchases are intentional. For example, replacing a broken appliance is a need, while upgrading to a newer model just for the sake of having the latest version may be a want. Taking a moment to pause and evaluate a purchase can make a big difference in avoiding impulse buys. Making spending more intentional does not mean giving up everything enjoyable. It simply means shifting the focus from thoughtless purchases to meaningful ones. A person who loves coffee may choose to make it at home most days, but still enjoy a cafe visit as an occasional treat. Someone who enjoys dining out may set a monthly limit instead of eating out whenever the urge strikes. These small changes allow for financial control without feeling deprived. When money is spent intentionally, it leads to greater satisfaction because each expense feels worthwhile. The goal of mindful spending is not to cut out all fun, but to ensure that every purchase adds value to life. Developing mindful spending habits takes time and practice. It starts with awareness, tracking expenses, and recognizing spending triggers. It also involves making intentional choices and ensuring money is being used in ways that support personal goals. Small adjustments can make a big impact on financial well-being without sacrificing happiness. When spending aligns with what truly matters, money becomes a tool for a better life rather than a source of stress. Chapter 2. Aligning spending with personal priorities is essential for mindful financial habits. Many people spend money without considering whether their purchases support their long-term goals or values. It is easy to fall into patterns of spending on things that offer temporary enjoyment but do not contribute to real happiness. For example, someone may regularly buy expensive clothing but rarely wear it, or they may spend on dining out even though they prefer home-cooked meals. When spending does not align with what truly matters, it can lead to financial stress and a feeling of dissatisfaction. On the other hand, when money is used intentionally, every purchase feels meaningful, and financial decisions become more empowering rather than restrictive. To align spending with priorities, it is important to first identify what truly matters. This varies from person to person. Some people may value travel and new experiences, while others may prioritize home comfort or personal growth. A person who loves exploring new places may choose to spend less on material items so they can afford trips. Someone passionate about health and fitness may invest in high-quality food and exercise rather than entertainment or gadgets. Recognizing what brings the most fulfillment makes it easier to allocate money in a way that supports those priorities. Instead of spending automatically, each purchase can be weighed against personal values to determine whether it is truly worth it. Many people struggle with the idea of cutting back on expenses because they fear missing out. However, mindful spending does not mean eliminating all fun purchases. It simply means making sure money is spent in ways that bring real joy. A person who enjoys going to concerts might cut back on daily takeout to afford tickets to see their favorite artist. Someone who values family time might choose to invest in experiences together rather than spending on expensive clothes or electronics. The key is to redirect money from unimportant expenses to things that create lasting happiness. When financial choices are made with purpose, there is no feeling of sacrifice because spending is aligned with what is truly valuable. Another important aspect of mindful spending is recognizing the difference between social expectations and personal priorities. Many people feel pressured to spend in certain ways because of societal norms or peer influence. For example, there may be an expectation to have the latest phone, drive a new car, or live in a bigger house. While these things may bring temporary excitement, they do not necessarily lead to long-term fulfillment. Mindful spending requires questioning whether an expense is genuinely important or if it is simply influenced by what others are doing. Choosing to spend based on personal values rather than external pressure allows for greater financial security and satisfaction. One practical way to ensure spending aligns with priorities is to create a personal money plan. This does not have to be a strict budget, but rather a simple guide for where money should go each month. Listing out top priorities, whether it is saving for a home, funding a hobby, or paying off debt, can help create a clear spending plan. Instead of mindlessly spending, each purchase can be evaluated based on whether it supports those goals. This approach creates a sense of control and helps prevent unnecessary purchases that do not contribute to overall well-being. Mindful spending also involves setting boundaries around financial decisions. Many people struggle with saying no to expenses that do not align with their goals. It might be difficult to decline an invitation to an expensive event or resist the pressure to upgrade to the latest technology. However, learning to say no to purchases that do not fit personal priorities is an important skill. Instead of feeling guilty for not spending in certain ways, it is empowering to know that money is being used for things that truly matter. Setting clear financial boundaries makes it easier to stick to a mindful spending plan without feeling deprived. When spending is aligned with priorities, money becomes a tool for happiness rather than a source of stress. Instead of feeling restricted, financial choices feel intentional and fulfilling. Every dollar spent serves a purpose, and there is a greater sense of control over personal finances. Over time, this leads to a more satisfying and financially secure life. Mindful spending is not about cutting back on everything, but about making sure every purchase brings real value. When money is used in ways that support long-term happiness, financial freedom becomes much easier to achieve. Chapter 3. Avoiding impulse spending is a key part of mindful financial habits. Many people make purchases on a whim without considering whether the expense is necessary or aligned with their priorities. Stores and online retailers use marketing tactics to encourage impulse buying, making it easy to spend money without thinking. Flash sales, limited-time discounts, and targeted ads create a sense of urgency, pushing people to buy things they may not have originally planned for. While an occasional impulse purchase may not seem like a big deal, frequent unplanned spending can quickly add up and take money away from more important financial goals. Recognizing these triggers and developing strategies to resist unnecessary spending can lead to greater financial control without feeling deprived. One effective way to avoid impulse purchases is to use the 24-hour rule. When tempted to buy something unplanned, waiting at least 24 hours before making the purchase allows time to consider whether it is truly necessary. Often, the initial excitement fades and the item no longer feels as important. If, after a day, the purchase still seems valuable and aligns with personal priorities, then it may be worth buying. This simple delay can prevent unnecessary expenses and ensure that money is spent with intention. For more expensive items, extending the waiting period to a week or even a month can help determine whether the purchase is truly worthwhile. Another helpful strategy is to create a spending list before shopping. Whether shopping for groceries, clothing, or household items, having a pre-planned list prevents unnecessary purchases. Without a list, it is easy to be distracted by sales, promotions, or attractive product displays. However, when a person knows exactly what they need, they are less likely to be tempted by things that are not essential. Sticking to a list ensures that spending is purposeful and reduces the risk of impulse buying. This approach is especially useful for grocery shopping, where unplanned purchases can significantly increase the total bill. Unsubscribing from marketing emails and avoiding online shopping for entertainment can also help reduce impulse spending. Many companies send frequent promotional emails with discount codes, encouraging customers to buy things they do not need. Social media platforms also use targeted ads based on browsing history, making it tempting to shop impulsively. Reducing exposure to these marketing tactics can make it easier to avoid unnecessary purchases. Instead of using shopping as a way to pass the time, replacing the habit with other activities such as reading, exercising, or spending time with friends can prevent boredom spending. Carrying cash instead of relying on credit or debit cards is another effective way to curb impulse purchases. Digital transactions make spending feel effortless, while using physical cash makes each purchase more tangible. When a person only has a set amount of cash for the day or week, they're more likely to think carefully about how they use it. This method encourages more mindful financial choices and helps prevent overspending. Even setting a weekly limit for discretionary spending can create better awareness of where money is going and ensure that unplanned expenses do not interfere with essential financial goals. Understanding emotional spending habits can also help reduce impulse purchases. Many people buy things as a response to stress, sadness, or boredom rather than out of true necessity. Shopping can provide a temporary mood boost, but the excitement of a new purchase often fades quickly, leaving behind regret and wasted money. Recognizing emotional triggers can help develop alternative ways to cope with feelings without turning to spending. Simple activities like taking a walk, journaling, or engaging in a hobby can provide relief without financial consequences. Over time, becoming more aware of emotional spending patterns makes it easier to resist impulse buying. Another useful practice is to set clear financial goals and remind oneself of them regularly. When a person has a specific purpose for their money, such as saving for a trip, paying off debt, or building an emergency fund, it becomes easier to say no to unnecessary expenses. Keeping these goals in mind while shopping can help prevent impulse purchases that do not align with long-term financial priorities. Placing a note in a wallet or setting a phone reminder about financial goals can serve as a helpful visual cue to stay on track. Impulse spending often happens because of convenience and instant gratification, but with small habit changes, it becomes easier to resist unnecessary purchases. By delaying purchases, shopping with a plan, reducing marketing exposure, using cash, and recognizing emotional spending triggers, money can be spent more mindfully. The goal is not to eliminate all enjoyable purchases, but to ensure that every expense is intentional and valuable. When spending is done with purpose, there is no need for guilt or regret, and financial security becomes much easier to achieve. Chapter 4. Frugality is often misunderstood as sacrificing quality for the sake of saving money. However, there are many ways to cut costs without compromising on the things that matter most. One of the easiest ways to save is by buying secondhand items. Thrift stores, online marketplaces, and local sales often offer gently used products at a fraction of the price. You can find everything from clothing to furniture and electronics in excellent condition, sometimes with little to no wear. This is an eco-friendly and budget-friendly option that helps extend the life of products while still getting high-quality items. Another simple but effective way to save money is by using coupons. With the rise of digital couponing, it has never been easier to find discounts on everything from groceries to household goods. Many stores offer loyalty programs or apps that provide special offers, and websites and browser extensions make it possible to find coupons on the spot while shopping online. These small savings can quickly add up and help stretch a budget without any noticeable reduction in the quality of the products purchased. Price comparison is another smart strategy for cutting costs without sacrificing quality. With so many options available, it's easier than ever to compare prices across multiple stores or online retailers before making a purchase. In some cases, similar products are sold for much lower prices at different stores. By taking a few extra minutes to check prices, it's possible to find the best deal without compromising on the quality or features you need. This approach helps you be more intentional with your spending and ensures you're getting the best value for your money. Cooking at home is another area where you can save significantly without feeling deprived. Many people assume that dining out is more enjoyable and convenient, but cooking your meals can be both cost-effective and rewarding. Preparing food at home allows you to control the quality of the ingredients and experiment with recipes that match your preferences. Plus, cooking in larger batches can reduce waste and make meals last longer, cutting costs even further. When you take pride in your home-cooked meals, you may even find that they bring more satisfaction than eating out. In addition to traditional savings methods, finding creative ways to cut costs can make a big difference. For example, borrowing items instead of buying them can save money while still fulfilling your needs. Whether it's borrowing tools from a neighbor or renting equipment for a short-term project, there are often options available to avoid unnecessary purchases. Repurposing items is another effective way to save without sacrificing quality. Instead of throwing out something you no longer use, consider how it could be reused or transformed into something else that serves a new purpose. By making these smart choices, it's possible to live well without overspending. Cutting costs doesn't mean you have to settle for lower quality. Instead, it's about finding ways to make thoughtful, intentional decisions that align with your goals. Whether it's buying secondhand, using coupons, cooking at home, or repurposing items, there are plenty of opportunities to save while maintaining the quality of your lifestyle. With a little creativity and planning, frugality becomes a sustainable, rewarding way to manage money and create lasting value. Chapter 5. A mindful budget is more than just a list of expenses. It's a tool that reflects your personal priorities and provides a sense of financial freedom. Many people view budgeting as restrictive, but when done thoughtfully, it can actually give you greater control over your money and help you align your spending with what truly matters to you. The goal is to create a budget that leaves room for enjoyment, allowing you to live within your means while still having the freedom to experience life. To build a mindful budget, it's important to allocate money in a way that balances your needs, goals, and desires. Start by identifying the essentials: your rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, and any other necessary expenses. These are the foundation of your budget and should always come first. Once you've covered the essentials, the next step is to prioritize your savings. Setting aside money for future goals, whether it's an emergency fund, retirement, or a big purchase, ensures that you're building financial security for yourself and your family. The key to a balanced budget is also allowing space for discretionary spending. This is where many people struggle with budgeting, feeling that every dollar must be accounted for and spent on necessities. However, a mindful budget recognizes that life is meant to be enjoyed, and allowing room for fun and enjoyment is essential. Whether it's dining out, traveling, or spending on hobbies, having a category for discretionary expenses ensures that you're not depriving yourself while still maintaining control over your finances. The goal is not to cut out everything enjoyable, but to ensure that every expense serves a purpose. This means being intentional about where you spend your money and making sure that your purchases align with your values and goals. For example, instead of spending mindlessly on small, unimportant items, you might choose to save for a special experience or invest in something that brings long-term value. When your budget reflects your priorities, it becomes easier to make spending decisions that align with your larger vision for your life. Creating a mindful budget also involves regular check-ins. It's important to review your budget periodically to see if it's still working for you. Life circumstances change, and your budget should adapt as necessary. If you find that certain expenses are creeping up or that you're not saving as much as you'd like, you can adjust your spending or reallocate funds. A mindful budget is flexible, not rigid, and should evolve to fit your current needs and future aspirations. By building a mindful budget, you're creating a financial plan that empowers you rather than restricts you. It allows you to spend on the things that truly matter to you while still securing your financial future. A balanced budget that includes savings, essentials, and discretionary spending ensures that you live well within your means, without feeling deprived. When budgeting becomes a tool for intentional living, it can provide a sense of freedom and peace of mind that allows you to fully enjoy life without financial stress. Chapter 6. Mindful spending is deeply connected to the sense of contentment that comes from appreciating what you already have. In a world constantly promoting the idea that more is better, it can be easy to fall into the trap of always chasing new things. However, this cycle of purchasing more, often in search of happiness, can lead to endless spending without ever feeling truly satisfied. Practicing gratitude can help shift your focus from what is lacking to what is already present in your life, fostering a deeper sense of contentment and fulfillment. Gratitude is a powerful tool for mindful spending because it encourages you to reflect on the positive aspects of your life and recognize the abundance you already have. When you take time to appreciate the things that bring you joy and the experiences that have shaped your life, the desire for more material possessions begins to lose its grip. This shift in perspective makes it easier to spend less without feeling deprived. Instead of feeling as though you are missing out, you start to see that financial stability and freedom are the true rewards of making thoughtful money choices. Choosing to spend less doesn't have to be associated with a sense of scarcity. In fact, when you practice gratitude, it becomes clear that less can often mean more. By choosing to focus on the things that truly bring joy, whether it's time with loved ones, personal growth, or experiences that enhance your well-being, you can feel more satisfied with what you have. Contentment is about enjoying the present moment and being grateful for the things that already enrich your life, rather than constantly searching for external possessions to bring happiness. Contentment does not mean never striving for more, but it does involve recognizing that happiness is not dependent on material goods. It's easy to get caught up in the cycle of purchasing things with the belief that they will make life better. However, True happiness comes from internal sources, such as meaningful relationships, a sense of purpose, and personal growth. When you embrace contentment, you realize that your worth and happiness are not tied to the amount of money you spend or the things you own. Practicing gratitude and contentment helps you make mindful spending choices that reflect your values rather than external pressures. When you stop viewing money as a means of acquiring things for happiness, you can begin to focus on how money can serve your life goals and provide experiences that truly enrich you. Gratitude fosters a mindset that appreciates the present, while contentment helps you recognize that happiness isn't something to be bought. It's something that comes from within. Together, they form the foundation for mindful spending that leads to long-term fulfillment and financial peace. In conclusion, mindful spending is not about depriving yourself, but about making intentional choices that align with your values and financial goals. By focusing on what truly brings happiness, embracing simple pleasures, resisting impulse spending, and prioritizing meaningful experiences over material possessions, it becomes easier to live frugally without feeling restricted. Financial security and personal fulfillment go hand in hand when spending decisions are made with awareness and purpose. Over time, these habits lead to a more balanced, stress-free life where money is a tool for achieving long-term well-being rather than a source of worry or regret.